Hari Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Govind Gopinath Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai. Jai Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurkishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Baladeva Vibhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Sarup Damodar Roy Ramanandadi Gaura Parsada Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikoho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadvipa Dham Ki Jai. Shri Antar Dvip Mayapur Simanta Dvip Golden Dvip Madhya Dvip Kola Dvip Ritu Dvip Jana Dvip Moda Druma Dvip Ruda Dvip Atmaka Shri Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvadashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Kshetra Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Vignanashana Shri Nrsimha Dev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhu Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charodam Charo Sampradaya Charo Acharya Ki Jai. Akara Mat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Or Ananya Shaka Mat Samuha Ki Jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Pavana Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai. Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Trishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Devyai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My Dandavat pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most beloved worshipable Diksha and Siksha Gurudevs. Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansastatara Sata Shri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My unlimited Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Shri Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. So today we are probably going to finish, or maybe not, the rest of this little book. Yesterday we heard Srila Babaji Maharaj's inspiration to manifest the appearance place of Srimad Mahaprabhu, then specifying the birthplace of Sri Gaura, then the power of Srila Babaji Maharaj's presence, then enthusiasm for preaching in Gaur-dham, then the veteran general, then Srila Prabhupada's memories of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, then entering the eternal pastimes of the Lord, we heard. Then the next two, which are the final sections in this book, are titled, which we're going to read now. These are titled Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then the next section is the current of conceptions of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The current of conceptions. You know what that's called? The current.
The flow.
Yeah, but in Bengali or Sanskrit.
Nadi?
No. the Bhakti Vinod Dhara, which can never be stopped. So after we read that, then we're going to read his instructions, collection of 34 different instructions. No, 32.
It's like a Upadeshapali.
Yeah. They don't call it that, but that's what it is. Mm. So, oh, well, I guess I can see it.
Oh.
If it gets difficult, then.
It's right here. I can just see the extension.
Glasses though?
No. Okay. Yeah, I better use that. So, just as Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is the eternal worshipable object of Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, similarly, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur is the dear associate of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Those people who judge who is dear to Sri Guru or who is a great personality through external reasoning, they cannot take this secret to heart. Understand what their disqualification is?
Material reasoning.
Yeah, external reasoning. Oh, they're trying to judge who is dear to Sri Guru. Is that always totally apparent? Who is dear to Sri Guru? No, it's not. But there are people that try to judge who is dear to Sri Guru. Or also they try to judge who is a great personality, a Mahajan or Mahaparusha. But they try through external reasoning. So, because of that, they cannot take this secret to heart. What secret? What he's already told. Which is what?
To know who is dear to Sri Guru and who is an exalted or personality.
No, but specifically the relationship between Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj being the eternal worshipable object of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and similarly Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur being the dear associate of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Those people who judge who is dear to Sri Guru or who is a great personality through external reasoning, they cannot take this secret to heart. Now we'll explain. Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod was not the Diksha disciple of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, according to the Pancharatric system. Aside from this, he did not massage the hands, feet, and limbs of Srila Babaji Maharaj, nor did he perform other activities such as cooking for him. Also, he never performed the service of carrying the very old Babaji Maharaj from one place to another on his shoulders, like other disciples did. Nor, from an ordinary perspective, did he continually live nearby him. However, according to the Sri Rupanuga current of thought, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur completely fulfilled the inner heart's desire of Vaishnav Sarvabhauma, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Therefore, he was his dear servant and close associate. The reason for this is that the heart's propensity and the Siddhanta Vichar of Srila Babaji Maharaj was non-different from that of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. What was non-different? Two things.
Siddhanta and the heart's vichar.
Heart's propensity. And the Siddhanta Vichar. In that place, where the Guru and the disciple share the same propensity of heart, like Hari Hara, the qualities of intimacy, antarangata, and dearness, preshtata, they manifest. Let's go over this. So, where there is the case of the Guru and the disciple sharing the same propensity of the heart, like Harihara. Why is he mentioning Harihara?
Is it Shiva and Krishna together?
Yes, that deity. But Shiva, known as Hara, and Krishna, known as Hari, they're in so many ways, they're non-different. That Harihara deity, and we'll read about that in the Navadvip Mahatmya, how he's representing, how Krishna and Lord Shiva are actually non-different, but at the same time they're different. So here it's saying that just like Harihara, they share the same propensity of the heart. So, when the Guru and disciple share the same propensity of heart, then the qualities, two different qualities manifest. First one is called intimacy. And for the Sanskrit of intimacy is antarangata. We know what antaranga means, yes? What does antaranga mean? In context of what? Huh? No, that can be, but antaranga bhaktas. Mahaprabhu had his inner circle. Antaranga means internal. Antaranga. So his bhaktas, who were the closest to him, are called antaranga bhaktas. And every guru has his antaranga bhaktas. Who is the antaranga bhakta of Srila Madhavendra Puripad? Yeah. We can name practically any of our great Mahabhagavat gurus, and you will see that they have certain disciples that are antaranga bhaktas, because they share the same propensity of the heart. So here, that is the first quality that manifests, the quality of intimacy, antarangata. And the second quality is called preshtata. We know what preshta means. Preshta means very dear. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya. Krishna Preshta. Very, very dear to the Lord. We memorized Prabhupada's Pranam mantra and used to say that in English, right? Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namani. What does it mean?
He's very dear to Krishna on this earth.
Yes, on this earth, and very dear. Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. Bhutale means on this earth. So, this dearness is called Preshtata. It manifests. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advented solely to fulfill the heart's desire, the manobishta of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Take that and chew on it. Solely he advented to fulfill his desire. And he performed Guru Seva by offering him everything he possessed. He did not perform partial seva, nor did he cheat himself by accepting wealth, women, prestige, or any other type of deception as remuneration for his Guru Seva. The crest jewel of bona fide spiritual masters, Vaishnav Sarvabhaum, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, therefore entrusted Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur with the responsibility of disseminating the message of Sri Gaur Sundar among the scholarly section of society. He accomplished this by writing books to propagate Gaur's holy abode, Gaur Dham, Gaur's holy name, Gaur Nam, and Gaur's own desires, Gaur Kam. Indeed, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's own intense enthusiasm to preach the Dharma of Shuddha Bhakti manifested exclusively in his true follower. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur thus inspired the Nitya Siddha associate of Gaura, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This was a mistake here. I'm reading the sentence again. It's just a little funny how they've punctuated it. Indeed, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's own intense enthusiasm to preach the Dharma of Shuddha Bhakti manifested exclusively in his true follower, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Thus inspired, the Nitya Siddha associate of Gaura, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, fully dedicated his life and soul to preach the inner heart's desire of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. In present times, those who give their identity as the factual servants of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Dev, they are all under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So, now comes the final section. The current of conceptions of Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Bhaktivinoda Dhara. Many deceitful persons with ulterior desires came to Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj for instructions on Hari Bhajan, and then accepted the loincloth and the dress of Paramahamsas. Later, they presented their identity as disciples of Srila Babaji Maharaj, but they didn't even slightly follow Srila Babaji Maharaj's example or teachings in their own lives. So many, it's telling you. They took the dress of renunciation. They wanted to come to Jagannath Das Babaji for instructions on Hari Bhajan. Right? But they were persons who had ulterior desires. And they didn't really They presented their identity as disciples of Srila Babaji Maharaj, but they didn't even slightly follow Srila Babaji Maharaj's example or teachings in their own lives. So consequently, even though they posed their identity as being devotees who were well versed in and following the conceptions of Srila Babaji Maharaj, in reality they were very far away from his lotus feet. Only Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur protected the current of Sri Rupanuga Bhakti flowing from Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Aside from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the disciplic succession following in the line of Bhakti Vinod Gaur Saraswati, no others were able to preach the inner heart desire of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And the message of Sri Rupa Raghunath. I'm reading that again. Only Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur protected the current of Sri Rupa Nuga Bhakti flowing from Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Aside from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the disciplic succession following in the line of Bhaktivinoda Gaura Saraswati, no others were able to preach the inner heart desire of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and the message of Sri Rupa Raghunath. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur with Bhaktivinoda Thakur openly and fearlessly preached the pure message of Rupa Raghunath without hesitation while they were staying in Sri Purushottam Kshetra. Their line continues to do so until this present day. Gaur Premanande. So, there was a period in the 1890s when they were both residing in Jagannath Puri. That's when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had made his place of bhajan near to the ocean. You know where Namacharya Haridas Thakur's samadhi is? So, pretty much just kitty corner across the street from there is the actual place where Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house was. I think he called it Bhakti Bhavan. That property was purchased by ISKCON. And now there's an ISKCON temple and a restaurant on the ground level. And you walk up the stairs and there's a temple room there. And their temple room has a deity of Srila Prabhupada on the Vyasasana, and then they have another Vyasasana with the deity of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There. And right across the street from there is the Purushottam Gaudiya Math. And years ago, probably at least about 20 years ago, I remember going there. It wasn't as built up as it is now because they built quite a number of guest houses there. But the actual place where there was a house, it's a little bit just slightly down from the front gate, going down the hill a little bit. And at that time when I went there, there was an actual house there. Okay, so it was maybe a replica of that house or the same house that was refurbished or whatever, but that was the place where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stayed, and especially in the hot season, April, May is the hot season there. So he would open all the shutters on all sides. They had 4 sides, and the breeze of the ocean would flow through. So they resided there during that time period. And of course, in later years, after the disappearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada also resided in Jagannath Puri from time to time. So they preached. They openly and fearlessly preached the pure message of Rupa Raghunath without any hesitation while staying at Sri Purushottam Kshetra. Their line continues to do so until the present day. Now we're reading the essential instructions of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Ready? Are you ready to receive these special instructions of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj from his own lotus mouth?
Yes.
Are you absolutely sure?
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Number 1, never meet or associate with monkeys wearing the dress of renunciation who are hypocrites holding on to ulterior motives for wealth, women, and prestige. What did Mahaprabhu call? Marakata Vairagi. Marakata means monkey. You see? Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhari. So you're going to see that in these instructions, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is uncompromising. I think that's one of the highlights of so many of his instructions. Never meet or associate with monkeys wearing the dress of renunciation who are hypocrites holding on to ulterior motives for wealth, women, and prestige. And can we find that? Yes, a lot. Number 2, never take the food of a sense enjoyer, otherwise you will become one. Number 3, by the mercy of Gordham, one will obtain residence in Braja. Number 4, this is a good one. Number 4, worldly misfortune should be considered the compassion of Bhagavan. Worldly misfortune should be considered the compassion of Bhagavan. Number 5, one cannot be called a sannyasi simply by taking the external cloth of a renunciate. One is not a sannyasi until love and attraction for Sri Krishna's service has appeared in his heart. That's the real. Number 6. This is another really good one and not easy one to swallow. Although illnesses that cause misery, they may be present in the body of a person who is desiring to perform bhajan. No, I'm reading that again. Although illnesses that cause misery may be present in the body of a person desiring to perform bhajan, because he abstains from rich, delicious foodstuffs. Because of that, automatically the sicknesses will go away. These illnesses, however, they take refuge in gentlemen who live a luxurious life and persons attached to enjoyment, and they stay with them for a long time. So what was just said?
I'm kind of lost. Don't eat richly? That's what I got.
No. That's, you've got it, but you have to understand everything.
Persons who have illness will lose their illness if they don't eat foods.
No. First of all, the persons who have the illness, they are persons in whom the desire to do bhajan is there in their heart. So, okay, they may have some bodily illnesses like this, and because he abstains from rich food, delicious foodstuffs, for that kind of a person who wants to do bhajan, has a strong desire in his heart to do bhajan, and because he abstains from rich, delicious foodstuffs, automatically the sicknesses will go away. Then what about the next person mentioned? What is the next person? The next person is these illnesses, however, they take refuge in gentlemen who live a luxurious life and persons attached to enjoyment, and then they stay with them for a long time. So the instruction of Mahaprabhu is quite apt. Have to be careful, right? Baluna kaibe ar baluna poribe. Remember that one? Don't eat luxurious food, don't dress luxuriantly. But of course, Mahaprabhu's main instruction is Radha Krishna Sada Braje Sevibe Koribe. Always, always worship Radha and Krishna in Braj. Number 7. One should not even within one's own mind beat the drum of self-glory, thinking, I have performed service. Otherwise, one's service cannot be called seva. Even if there's a pinch. Beating the drum. Look at me. What I've done. I've done such seva. But what is the actual fact? It cannot be called seva then. Number 8. Do not develop laziness on the pretext of performing solitary bhajan. Number 9. It is more beneficial to cultivate fields and water plants for the service of the Vaishnavas than to inattentively pull beads hundreds of thousands of times while chanting. The result of service to the Vaishnavas is real, sincere taste for the holy name. That is the result. But just simply chanting without service to the Vaishnavas, no. Hundreds of thousands of times while chanting, it is better to cultivate the fields for the vegetables of the Vaishnavas. Number 10, don't imitate the Vaishnavas, or you will be burnt to ashes. Pray to them. Pray to serve them without duplicity. Don't imitate. Number 11. Here's a very heavy one. Very heavy. By enjoying the wealth meant for Sri Hari's service, one will become the greatest of atheists. That's what will happen. "12. An ordinary thief may at some point achieve auspiciousness." Who will? Ordinary thief. However, those who enjoy the wealth of Guru and Vaishnavas will never obtain any auspiciousness. Number 13. just as Sri Krishna is the topmost amongst all Bhagavat Tattva, similarly, a Rupanuga Vaishnava is superior to other Vaishnavas. Understand that point? Because Bhagavat Tattva manifests in unlimited forms. But Sri Krishna is who?
Radha Krishna.
Well, Sri Krishna is who? Amongst Bhagavat Tattva. He's the topmost. He's the supreme. There's a difference between him and all the other expansions of Bhagavan. Yeah, Swayam Bhagavan. So just as for all the expansions of Bhagavan, Sri Krishna is topmost, he's telling us that amongst all the Vaishnavas, and there's many different types of Vaishnavas, which Vaishnavas are the topmost? Rupanuga Vaishnavas. Gurudev used to emphasize this. How yes, there are 12 Mahajans in our universe. You know that verse where it's saying Janaka, Prahlad, Bhishma, and all of these 12 Mahajans known throughout the universe. But then Gurudev said, but when Mahaprabhu appeared, the greatest of all Mahajans who ever lived in our universe appeared, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. They're the topmost Mahajans amongst all Vaishnavas. Number 14. To one who serves Guru and Vaishnavas with ulterior desires and with the arrogance of being a sevak, Guru and Vaishnavas will give material gain. They'll give worship. They'll give prestige, thus sending that person far away. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I remember hearing how he told near the end that actually practically none of you are my actual disciples. Very heavy, he told. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now, number 15, Sri Krishna has said, those who serve me, they will never have to undergo difficulties in filling their bellies. Krishna has told. I've yet to find a Vaishnava who's had difficulty filling their belly. So that Krishna has said, those who serve me will never have to undergo difficulties in filling their bellies. However, those who become satisfied upon receiving delicious foodstuffs from me will never be able to obtain my service. Did you hear that? You didn't hear it. You missed it.
Those who become satisfied by obtaining delicious food from me will never obtain my service.
Yes.
It means their satisfaction is that service. To have service is their satisfaction rather than
See, Krishna, he's very kind. If somebody tries at all to serve him, they'll never have to undergo any difficulties in filling their bellies. So that's one problem solved. But, however, those who become satisfied upon receiving delicious foodstuffs from me, they'll never be able to obtain my service.
The reverse pole.
Yes, yes. So, we should not fall into this pitfall of trying to enjoy in the name of serving Krishna. Now, neophyte devotees, very new devotees, are encouraged. You should enjoy this Mahaprasadam and everything, right? And they become very purified, and they become quickly purified. But in the course of advancement in bhakti, you have to be tested. And service to Krishna is not depending on whether your belly is full or not, and whether you're getting, palatable foodstuffs. But if somebody becomes satisfied, that's their criterion of satisfaction, then Krishna says they'll never really be able to obtain my real service. No. Number 16, the duty of all householders is to accept the shelter of the lotus feet of Sadguru and engage in the service of Sri Giridhari. Number 17, the essence of the instructions of Srimad Mahaprabhu. The essence of the instructions of Srimad Mahaprabhu is to perform kirtan of Sri Nam without offenses. That's it. Not an easy thing, is it? To perform kirtan of Sri Nam without offenses. Anyone can pronounce. Anyone can play instruments and sing and dance. But without offenses? No. But that's the essence of Mahaprabhu's instructions according to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Number 18, while placing yourself under the guidance of pure Vaishnavas, you should preach Gaur Nam. Number 19, to serve under guidance is the highest virtuous conduct. What does under guidance mean? Anugatya. This is the highest virtuous conduct. And independence is a form of degraded conduct. That's the number 19th. We'll complete the rest of it tomorrow. But to wind this up, never be without anugatya. Srila Gurudev used to emphasize this so much. Never be independent. He told me. I remember just one little thing. When 98, Gaur Purnima, I took saffron cloth from Gurudev and officially vanaprastha. But because I had to go back to Singapore and pay off a debt for the paintings that I was selling, so I had to, and that was a whole story in itself. So Gurudev approved. And then he was coming to Singapore at some point after that, and I was there in Singapore at the airport greeting him. And I was wearing my saffron cloth. Yes. And then Gurudev came out and we greeted him and he sat down and for a few minutes, and then he said, now you are all right. And then he said, no more independence. Told me, no more independence. So that's what Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is saying here, that to serve under guidance is the highest virtuous conduct, and independence is a form of degraded conduct. Hare Krishna. Let us pray that we will be blessed, that we can follow all these instructions in our life. Gaur Premanandi. Vansha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai